would have been Bitcoiners. He said the founding fathers are Bitcoiners. He said everybody that came to America is a Bitcoiner. And what he's acknowledging is whereas once the United States was the New World and it was risky and dangerous to come here for a better life and property, now Bitcoin is the New World. And it's risky and dangerous, and people have suffered, like Ross Ulbricht, to come here for this property. And he recognizes that, he honors that, and he's willing to actually stand up and tell the entire world that that will be an observation that ripples everywhere in the world, throughout the establishment and throughout other governments. And there's going to be a bunch of German politicians looking at that, saying, well, if the U.S. is not going to sell its Bitcoin, we must have been pretty stupid to sell our Bitcoin. And I think that's big move forward.
So a variety of proposals now. We had yesterday RFK proposing to buy millions of Bitcoin. Different level of commitment today. What sort of policies would you think could potentially improve Bitcoin and its trajectory?
I think that there's the big three. There's three policies that accelerate us to institutional adoption. That three things that take Bitcoin up by 100x from where it is today. The first thing is to legitimize and accept and endorse it as an institutional grade asset. So fair regulation of the asset itself in the securities industry. And in January, we got the first installment of that with the approval of the spot Bitcoin ETF, but it was an incomplete regulation because the SEC still denies in-kind creation of ETF shares, and the SEC still denies the ability to trade options on top of spot Bitcoin ETF shares. And the acceptance was given grudgingly. It was basically, I did it because I had to do it, but I didn't like it. Okay, so what's the significance of that? The negative opinion expressed when the approval came, that sits as a shadow over a lot of mainstream investors. We need to flip from a negative opinion to at least a neutral opinion. Like, why is it that a federal regulator isn't expressing an opinion that this asset is good or bad versus that asset? So I think that's got to change still. I think that the lack of in-kind creates and redemption means that it's a taxable event if I want to contribute Bitcoin or withdraw Bitcoin from an ETF. So if you were to invest in an ETF and it 10x'd and then you wanted to take your Bitcoin as self-custody, you're getting charged 30% of the Bitcoin. If you wanted to move the Bitcoin from an ETF to a bank or to another custodian, you're getting charged as if you sold it, even though you didn't sell it. So right now, there's a tax inefficiency, and that's hostile. Whenever you tax someone to vibrate remember what I talked about, vibration and frequency. When you tax on the trade or on the transformation, you're hostile. You're oppressing the transaction. It's like you're damping the wave. So I think allowing in-kind creates and redemptions will be a big advance forward. When you allow people to trade options on them, you will eliminate or lessen the volatility and increase the ability to generate yield. And those two things are what you would expect in the maturation of the asset class as a security. So that's the first plank. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10 with regard to institutionalizing the asset, we're at a 6 there, and in terms of embracing. The second plank is fair accounting. Okay, if I wanted to